All right, everyone, welcome back. This is Hear This, and we're so excited today. We have a fun topic. Again, I'm Adam Pretorius, a local realtor in Iowa City.
And I'm Emily Farber, also a local realtor in Iowa City, and we have to put up with each other all the time.
That's working in real estate, collaborating with everyone, and it's so much fun. But today's topic is kind of fun because, you know, we're just getting started with the new year, and when I look at New Year's, we're all setting goals, right? And so most of our goals are all short term. In fact, I think most people started them on New Year's and have already given up a couple weeks in.
What?
But today I want to talk about something bigger, something that we often forget, something that is really important. And by talking about it and announcing it, I'm holding myself accountable, and I would like to hear what yours are.
You're placing it into the universe.
That's right. I am placing it in the universe. I'm putting it on the table. I want people to know this is where I want to go. And I'm making benchmark steps in how I get there and kind of mapping it out. So for me, I have lifetime goals. And there's two in specific that are my lifetime goals. And I'm really curious to hear what your lifetime goals are. But let me start with one of mine. So one of mine is I would love to do another new urbanism development. And so, you know, I worked a lot in the Peninsula neighborhood, which was, of course, a legacy project of mine, which I love. I think the way that it created community, it had kind of a diverse characters of style, but also incomes and families. And the community happened kind of organically just by this really well done planning. I think doing something like that again, but on a larger scale, would be incredible. And it would be something that I would love to do. The problem is the cost.
Where are you getting the land?
Yeah, well, the land is going to be tough, right? And so I have to make steps on the way. And so, you know, doing like developments and other developments that are more traditional before I go to this kind of more unconventional and progressive development that it is, takes time. And also it's a very in-depth development that requires that partnership between the private and the public sectors, you know, and that, you know, it's a give and take on both sides. And so learning how to work with both sides is kind of a challenge. Whereas like, you know, a traditional development is really more in the private sector. So doing those stair steps and working my way to getting there, I don't, you know, is it a 5-year goal? Probably not. 10 years?
Maybe.
Probably not. But 20 years, hopefully I can look back at this video and say, okay, you know, like I've made steps and now I'm ready to go and here it is and I'm able to go at it. But that's one of my two goals. Okay. I want to hear a couple of your long-term goals.
You want me to spill the tea on my plans for world domination?
World domination's on your plans.
No. Okay, so a goal of mine, and I think it would be totally reasonable to think that it could happen in 5 years or less.
Okay.
I would like to have a working relationship with a builder. I would like to be the builder's rep. That is not something that I've ever done. I look around at other agents that have done it or are doing it, and I'm like, okay, why them and not me? Right. I'm not entirely clear on the steps that an agent goes through to get to that point of partnering with a builder, but I feel like I have the experience, I have the energy, I've got the social reach. I should be doing it.
No, as someone who knows you personally and professionally, I think you have all the resources and the abilities to tap that new market. I think it's just maybe sitting down and mapping it out. Like, have you written down like maybe some action steps or how you're going to get from, you know, the point A to point B?
That's a very Adam-y thing.
Well, I'm big into processes and systems, and you know where you are now is your point A, and to get into point B, what you need to do is you need to set goals and then processes to get there.
Right. No, I haven't sat down and done that, but I have allowed you and your processes and systems to influence me on other shorter term goals, and they do definitely work. Yes, kids, listen to Adam. His plans work.
Look, organization lets you live a happier life, and undisciplined or discipline is the key to that. But you know, disorganization is just in unhappiness. But so let's go back to this. So you want to work with a builder. So tell me, are you thinking more like a seasoned builder, or are you going to try to like start with a brand new builder, like pull them out of, just like grow them out of the weeds?
I think I'm going to grow them out of the weeds. And really? I actually have a former client in mind. He is interested in getting into the building trade. He's in another, I'm not going to call him out here on this video, but he's in like closely related trade right now. And yes, and he would like to get into building houses.
And so you would kind of work as their mentor, but obviously you don't have like the building background. You just have the real estate background that you could provide that synergy.
Yeah. I mean, I've helped a lot of clients buy new construction over the years. And I think maybe one of my unique things that I could bring to the table for a builder would be my perspective. I have a very down-to-earth perspective.
Sure.
You and I are a little bit different in that sometimes you are up in the clouds and I'm a little more salt of the earth. So I've been through enough houses. I can definitely identify what is sexy as hell, but I also know what people really want in real life. Yeah. So when I walk through a new construction house, my clients are like, why did they do this? This is so dumb. Why didn't they do this? Yeah. A builder needs somebody to tell them.
That's so true. Because I think a lot of builders build products of what they think people want rather than building products of what people want. You know, and that's the key, right? You don't want to build a product and guess what people want. Yeah. You want to build a product of what people want. And since you're the pulse and talking to the customer on the street, you're the boots on the ground that knows what is good and works and what products to put in a home versus the builder guessing at it and then not having success. So that would bring a wealth of information to help them get started. And I think you would bring a lot of value to that.
Well, thanks.
I just happen to be teaching a new build class, actually, in a couple months. You should probably come.
Okay.
There's a plug there. Other agents that are watching, come take my class. Okay, that's great. So that's one of your goals.
Right.
I want to hear another one. But before we do, I got one.
Okay.
This one's big. This one's ambitious. This one's tough. This is challenging. This is one that many have tried before and failed at. But, it's me. I got to try. And this one is kind of an idealist, but I would love to do an affordable housing development. And when I say doing an affordable housing development, I would also like to do it without public support and getting all, grants and funding. And I know that's probably too ambitious. Like I'm going to have to do some sacrifice and get like a little bit on it, some help to get it done. But, I got a lot of ideas here that I've been kind of mapping out of how we could cut cost, how we could create this development, but also not do it so it's a cookie cutter, cheap development. Like it still needs to be a community that holds its value. And, 30, 40 years from now, you didn't build, cheap housing that just falls apart, right? Like we want something that's still, just because it's affordable doesn't mean that you can't be proud to live there, right? Like a really nice community.
Where are you envisioning the location of this? Because land prices, it's hard to get around those.
Land is tough. Absolutely, land is tough. And so ideally, like when I originally started trying to map out this lifetime goal, which is like 5 years ago, my idea was to do single family homes. And I think a lot has changed in 5 years, right? A lot of places across the country are outlawing or limiting single family zoning for a variety of reasons, but partially because of land issues, right? And density has increased. And so maybe that dream has gone away and it needs to be more like a townhouse, maybe a mixed use, maybe a couple single families, but then you got townhouses and stacked flats. I mean, most countries do that if you look outside of the US. But I think that might allow some economies of scale and reduce costs that I could do to get the affordable housing component. But, I'm really intrigued by, here I am spilling my beans, modular housing. A lot of big companies, your Google, Alphabet, your Apple.
Isn't Elon living in modular housing?
Amazon. Yeah, Elon's living in a boxable. It's really cool. It's like a 300 anyways. We won't go into that right now. But I think there's a lot of reduced costs that could be done. We do traditional construction methods in the United States. And, if you look at how Henry Ford revolutionized the automobile industry with just doing assembly lines, we could do the same with housing. There's no reason we couldn't save it. And again, Apple and Google and Amazon are all producing workforce housing for their employees using the same methods.
So what price point are you thinking counts as affordable?
Well, you see, and that's changed a lot, right, in 5 years? So when I mapped this out 5 years ago, affordable then is very different than what affordable now is.
Right. There's some new ones that are on the market out in Coralville, and they're at $320,000, and they're supposed to be affordable.
Yeah.
That is out of reach for a lot of people.
And so the biggest part of this affordable housing topic is, and I struggle with this quite a bit, the American dream is ownership over rentals.
Yes.
Yet most countries are predominantly rentals over ownership. So we used to be like 70, almost 80% pre-pandemic ownership. Pre-recession. Now we're what, like 60-40, maybe 65-35. But if you look at places like Germany, they're like 70-30, 70% rental, 30% ownership. Just different cultures.
Okay.
And so I only bring it up, and not that I'm challenging the status quo, because as a purist, I think, and as a realtor, I promote homeownership, and I think that's great. But maybe that's not the best option for everyone. Maybe it's not a one shoe size fits all, right? Like maybe, one of the problems with homeownership is if you need more of a cyclical and volatile lifestyle where you might need to get up and move or make a big life changes, ownership's not necessarily for you, because it might take 3 to 7 years for you to have a break even or a payback on owning the home.
Right.
So rentals make more sense for short term. So if we're seeing dips in the economy or you're in a volatile, industry where you're worried about that, I don't know that affordable housing and ownership works all the time. Sometimes maybe leases might be better because you get trapped in this ownership, and then the foreclosures default rate might not be good. So maybe I need to explore doing rentals. I don't know. I haven't decided. This is a tough one because I would like to do ownership, but.
So I have had an idea sort of in the same vein that you're talking about. I have had a series of clients where their profile is all the same.
Yeah.
And they are all looking for almost the same thing.
Sure.
So the profile of this particular subsegment of clients, they are retired age people, single women more often than not, but I have had a few men.
Okay.
They want to downsize. They no longer want to take care of the yard, but they still want to have a little bit of outdoor space. They want a little space for the small dog or a little patio
That'd be like a common park, or they want their own private?
They want their own.
Okay.
A little bit of space for like container gardening, for sitting out in the sun and reading the newspaper. What they want is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo on a slab, ground floor, with a large garage, because downsizing is hard. So they're going to park one car in there, and then they're going to stack up their junk that they could not bear to get rid of on the other side. There are a few small communities like this in Iowa City, like over on the Oberlin area, but there's not enough. And you would be surprised the number of people that want to stay on the east side of Iowa City. They know that there's all sorts of new construction going up in Tiffin and North Liberty. They don't care. Right. They don't want it. They want the east side of Iowa City. So if we could find a way to create 2-bedroom, 2-bath, granny flats, basically, on the east side of Iowa City, and keep them under $300,000.
So these are people that want ownership?
Yes.
Okay.
I could sell them all day.
Because, that is a thought, where we're seeing a lot of this single family zoning being limited is it's also allowing what was previous single family zoning being rezoned to allow for multifam zoning. So you could have your house, take the garage down and put a guest house in the backyard, but you wouldn't be selling it, you'd be renting it.
I mean, they're not opposed to condos. They could have an attached wall. Sure. You could have 2x2 or 4-plex, as long as it is single story.
Yeah, well, you might be onto an idea here. Maybe you need to explore it. Is this one of your lifetime goals? Are you making this a lifetime goal on air right now?
I don't know, Adam.
Maybe it's good. Yeah. Maybe you should.
Builders out there, you want to do this with me?
I love that where your brain's going. I think these are good ideas. I think these are how, like, what sounds like crazy ideas, and you sit down and you start mapping them out and looking at them, they actually become potentially viable and maybe a really good progressive idea for the futures. But this is good. So tell me, you have to have a second lifetime goal. Give me another one.
Okay. This is more of a how much is enough question.
Okay.
I have been working my business really hard now for like 7 years. I've had great success. I have been able to achieve things that I never imagined. So the question is, when is enough enough?
Right.
How much money do you want to make? How many clients do you want to juggle at once? Do you want to run a whole team?
Right.
You're going to become the circus ringmaster? Or do you want to just maintain what you have and get better at it? not use up quite so much of your personal time, not spend every single night with your face stuck in your phone, but actually interacting with your family, or exploring new hobbies or getting to the gym. I mean, the only time that I can go to the gym is at 5:30 in the morning. So I get up at 4:50 a.m.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I sometimes wonder what would happen if I tried to pull back a little bit more of my personal time. It all sounds fine and dandy until you start looking at life expenses. So we just had our second son, second in line out of 4, get accepted to an out-of-state college. Lordy, Adam, the yearly tuition. Mama needs to sell some more houses.
She told him to go to Iowa. Yeah, I think the work-life balance is a struggle for everyone. I mean, as someone who also gets up at 4:30, until I lost Amy, my wife, this summer, it really took a moment for me to step back and think, like, I need to do more vacations. I need to spend more time on life, less on work, and that work-life balance, I think, is a struggle. But you can always buy time, right? Like you could get another team member, and that might give you a little bit more time. So you had an hour to go to the gym every day, and you're able to take a vacation or travel. I mean, that's what I'm doing. For the first time, I'm hiring a team member to help me out, and we're going to grow a team. And so that's mostly to give me some of my work-life balance back. But yeah, when is enough?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
how much do you want?
Like, and that's a vanity struggle, right? Like, do you want to keep going? Like, or is happiness also just a measure of happiness, and then you just improve that status quo by getting more time, by figuring out how to do efficiencies and being more selective on your daily tasks?
I mean, things change. You have relationships that you want to nurture. You've got children that you want to actually enjoy their childhood with. I mean, you and I we're in a different stage in our lives.
Right.
You've got one child. He's young. He's almost 2.
Yeah.
Little William. I have 4 teenagers. And I can tell you, when I think back to what it was
buying
like,
cars in college. Yeah.
When I think back to what it was like when they were all just wee little itty bitties, it felt like their childhood was going to last forever. Like you were never going to make it out the other side. And I can tell you with 100%, like I'm being dead serious, snap of the fingers, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, wait,
come back,
spend some more time with me. Like it goes so fast. And it makes you wonder, like, was I not paying enough attention?
Yeah.
Could I have spent more quality time with them? Because you can't get the time back.
And that's that work-life balance. Yeah, I think, and hey, we're Americans. We're supposed to work a lot.
Hustle and grind, baby.
Right. All day.
Yeah.
The 7 to 6 o'clock job, but you have to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that. Very, very guilty of that. I'm working to get better at it.
I know. Haven't I given you a few come to Jesus talks about that?
Well, I'm working at it, and big life moment this summer. But the kids going to college for you, that's going to be a huge adjustment. There was a colleague that once told me, she said, you should own one income property for every year of college you have to pay for. So that was her tip to me. So I've started young and on doing this, and so I have my college set for my son William. But
okay,
where's your income property levels at?
Well, David and I, we took a different approach. We invested. So we put away a chunk of money for each kid into investments, which
like stocks and such.
Yes, which was going great until the last 2 years.
Right, harder to pull it out just on a whim.
And investments just really took a hit.
Yeah.
So what was a very comfortable pile of money is now not so much.
We'll come back. You just got to do the long run, but now you're stuck doing the short gap fill.
Right. How much can we?
So does your son know he's got to get a job?
he is such a hard worker. He works at Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
Okay.
And comes home with just wild stories of
smelling like smoke,
customer service stories.
Yeah. Everyone should do a service job.
And he has saved a lot of money. The kid is a saver, so he's put away some money. He's doing his part.
So eventually you're going to be having the work-life balance conversation with him within the next 5 years, sounds like?
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, this is fun. I'm so glad we got to learn some of your big goals. I'm going to keep harboring you to hold yourself to it and be accountable.
Yeah.
And now you know mine.
Right.
And so we'll see where things go. Well, thanks for all for watching. This has been a great episode of Hear This, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next time.